Greetings from Costa Rica. Welcome to today's live Friday broadcast. My name is Matt Rosensteel, and we're going to be going over 10 beach properties under $500,000 that are currently on the market here in Costa Rica. And we will be looking in some different areas with a couple options included from Jaco, given by my man David Carr down there, who will be joining us live. My goal today is that I really want to just go over a variety of real estate, lots, condos, and homes, all of which are within 10 minutes walk of the beach. That is our standard today for a quote-unquote beach property. And I also will be giving comments as we go along with some thoughts on the pros and cons of different properties to help you understand how I would look at real estate down here in Costa Rica. In addition to that, we will also be talking about my most important real estate deal this year, which is about to close, why it's my most important deal, and how you can help similar great things happening. And we're also going to talk about a new local business to support. And we will get to watch the number 27 ranked under 10 tennis player in all of Costa Rica as we wrap up today. Here's a hint, I may be related to that number 27 ranked under 10 tennis player today. Obviously, I also have the goal that if you are out there and you're looking for a realtor in Guanacaste, Costa Rica, that you will give me a call. I am available at matt@costaricamatt.com. That'd actually be how you email me rather than calling me. And if you'd like to get a thorough video overview of the entire process of buying real estate here, answers to a lot of those questions and more, you can always go to costaricamatt.com and smash that blue button, and you will be able to download my V-book, a 20-plus chapter video compendium of the most important subjects related to real estate in Costa Rica. Without further ado, I want to start talking about 10 properties, beach properties on the market currently that are less than 10 minutes walking distance from the beach. If you're out there and you want to post a question, comment, concern, don't hesitate to do so. I'm more than happy to veer wildly off topic at any juncture if it happens to be an interesting question and we want to discuss it. So let's start off. We're going to go with our two lots today, the two undeveloped pieces of property that we have under $500,000. First and foremost, starting off with a half-acre parcel that is extremely close to the beach here in our area. First of all, I want to give a big, warm Coldwell Banker welcome to Matt Bernard, who has just rejoined our team after a hiatus with a different team. Let's look at Matt's listing here. We're talking $175,000. This is a half-acre property. Hopefully they've got a shot that shows you right there. It's about 250, maybe 300 meters from the water itself. When you're walking down to the water, you would see that maybe it's a little bit 400 meters walk because you've got to jog over on a road. But the great thing about this property is that it's entirely flat, very usable, and that it's at the end of it's at the end of a road in our community where you would have almost no one passing by the front of your property. Oftentimes you see that half acres can be very broken or that you might have them right in a busy spot. This is tucked back on a block where you barely ever have anyone going by. And Matt has confirmed that they do have, critically, a current water letter for the property. If you've watched my channel, you found out that water letters in our area recently became a very scarce and critical asset. Well, his property has a water letter, and so you can get your building permit there on the $175,000 half-acre parcel there on what is called Calle Mundo Milo. Next land listing that I want to bring up is actually an ocean view lot and a new listing of mine. I'm really stoked about this lot because it's really close to one of our best beaches in the area, which is called Playa Blanca. Ironically, Playa Blanca actually has white sand. You'd find there are plenty of beaches in Costa Rica that are not clearly named like that, but this is a 1/4 acre where you're extremely close to the water and you have the potential to build with ocean views, especially towards the back of the property, rising away from the road. Interestingly enough, I can see that these pictures were taken only a few months ago. The rainy season has dramatically changed the terrain out here. But anyhow, at $199,500 asking price, this listing, the Playa Blanca Ocean View lot, which I should have brought up here in the title, is again about 1 block to that white sand beach. There are a couple different ways you can get that down there. It's spectacular for snorkeling, amazing place for swimming at low tide. And again, it is a property with a water letter. I wouldn't necessarily even try to promote something that at this juncture doesn't have a water letter, because your options for building would be a little bit complicated or longer term. Next, let's talk about some beachfront condos. And in fact, we're going to have a total of 3 beachfront condos, 2 of which are actually down in the Central Pacific. And at this moment, I'm going to have David Carr from Jaco join us. David, how you doing down in Jaco?
Hey, Matt, how you doing?
Excellent, excellent. I'm always stoked because, you know, Jaco has a lot more truly beachfront inventory than other places in Costa Rica. And the 2 condos you sent me look pretty promising for people who really want to be on the beachfront. What can you tell us about the first one here, which is Aqua Residences, the condo listed for $319,000?
Yeah, so both of them are going to be great values. The thing about Jaco is that we do have quite a bit of beachfront development. It's fully titled, so that's kind of the game here. A lot of beachfront condos, which gives you an opportunity to get the ocean views, which is what a lot of people look for. So this Aqua condo, it's only 36 total units in the complex, just a great building, a little bit more high end, you know, kind of style finishes, kind of has that Miami kind of feel to it. And this is a 2 bath. Pictures don't do it justice, but it has great ocean views. You can kind of see from that shot there. And just a tremendous value. This is at $319,000, as you probably know, closer up to your world, $319,000, and you're on the beach, on the sand, and getting water views. I mean, that's just insane. That's insane value.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you're out there and watching and you've ever contacted me for a beachfront condo, I can only offer you options from $460,000 and up. And that's not even in Tamarindo. That's down here in my neck of the woods. Everyone will be able to see that particular condo in a little bit. So for $319,000, that's one of, honestly, the lowest priced beachfront items in Costa Rica real estate currently, no matter what we're talking about. Now, this next condo at $499,000, tell us a little bit about the Diamante del Sol development.
That's also a great value. It is a larger unit. So Diamante del Sol is one of the more popular upscale developments on our beach. That one is a 2-bedroom, 2.5 bath. You can kind of see, I mean, it is right on the sand. Great views. It is first floor, but it's elevated, so you still have great views. And you have that feel where you're right there on that sand. The owners have recently renovated the unit, so it's got, you know, quite a few upgrades. They redid the bathrooms, the kitchen, and new furniture throughout. They just reduced the price on that to $499,000, and for that complex and for a unit that size, that's about as good as we see on value on that.
Yeah, I wanted to try and bring up here. This is the Diamante del Sol development down in Jaco. Am I correct? 2 towers?
Yep. So again, lower density. right? Only on that one, that's one of our bigger projects, and that one's still only 50 total units. So
Okay.
I think the one thing that, moving forward, you're never going to see these smaller type developments again, right? To see
Yeah.
30, 40 or 50 units in a complex on the sand, those days are just gone. So it's definitely a unique feature to kind of get into those more boutique type developments.
For sure. Construction these days is just too expensive. The margins for developers, it's got to be a huge project or they're not going to do it. And
Yep.
even then, I was just in San Jose staying in some relatively new construction and looking up the price that they're charging, even in like 20-story towers there, you're getting a microscopic condo for a minimum of 225. And it's like, man, some of these older buildings where you get 12, 14, or even 1,600 square feet.
Mm-hmm.
These days, if they build that size of unit,
yeah. The new construction, and if they do, you're going to pay $500,000 and up for it.
Yeah.
So especially that aqua. I mean, when you really look at the market in a whole in Costa Rica, just to find a condo a block off the beach these days, pushing 300, it's hard.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So here, just to confirm, this is the location of the aqua residences there, just a little block back from the beach in Jaco itself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's on the beach, but it's just about a block into the center of town.
Okay.
But it's right on the sand there. Mm-hmm.
Yep, absolutely. You can see that. So $319, you can get into aqua residences in Jaco. $499, you can get down here into the other one that I can't just remember off the top of my head.
Diamante del Sol.
Diamante del Sol. There's also, it's the fault of the developers throughout Costa Rica for making everything named practically the same stuff over and over again. I'll meet you later at the Las Ventanas del Sol or the Bahia del Sol project.
Del Sol, Del Mar. Yeah.
Speaking of which, our next condo, another beachfront option here in Junquillal, Las Brisas del Mar. Maybe now with AI, people can come up with like more ideas for condo names. But thanks very much for joining me. David, give us a quick update. How's the market looking in Jaco?
So it's actually been, I don't know on your end, but we're actually getting a lot of activity for this time of year. Normally it's, this is the dead of the dead, but more activity than I would have anticipated. It's not booming per se like it was, a couple of years ago, but we have seen a little uptick.
For sure.
And we're definitely seeing, I think, coinciding with some of the events in the States, we're definitely getting more of a push of the more end user, more of that client. I want to spend a good amount of time here. So we are seeing a more of an emphasis.
Whoop. We're getting David dropping in and out there.
Are you?
Well, no matter what, I heard the first part, which really coincides with what we saw. All of a sudden, September turned into this strange, weird pop where, whatever happened, a lot of people went from July and August, it being super quiet. Now in September and beginning October, I'm looking out at our street here in our quiet community, and there's a lot more people than you would typically see. Well, that will conclude things with David, given his internet seems to have dropped out anyhow. We'll go ahead and forge on with our beachfront condos, folks. I wanted to bring up listing number 5, which is the Las Brisas del Mar, a beachfront condo back here in Junquillal. So we're in Guanacaste again, in my neck of the woods. And, let's see. It looks like David's stream might be trying to come back in there. But anyhow, this Las Brisas del Mar beachfront condo, this is another place where, like David said, you won't see small boutique complexes like this in the future. There are only 18 condos at this Las Brisas del Mar complex. And this is one place where you truly walk out from the condo directly across the pool deck in the common areas, straight onto the sand without any interruption. I actually have a couple videos coming out soon. One is some health tips that are completely unproven related to owning a beachfront condo in Costa Rica. And the other is going to be taking a look at the 2 units we have for sale in this complex. Now, obviously, Junquillal in this location is radically different than Jaco. You're going to have a much quieter, calmer beachfront. There are actually very few tourists who ever visit that beach itself. And you're going to have a different rental strategy than you would in Jaco. Jaco, you have organic tourism, people showing up in hordes during the high season. With a condo like Las Brisas number 6, you're really going to develop your Airbnb profile over time because you're going to have high rates of return visitors who find your condo, fall in love, and decide to book it the next year. Or you're going to have to do, sort of that outreach locally, get into the networking with a smaller community where you get people locally to know that your condo is on the rental market. So again, Las Brisas number 6 is a $460,000, 1,300 square foot, 2-bedroom, 2-bath condo here in Junquillal. Also beachfront. It is also titled, making it one of the rare assets in Costa Rica that is beachfront and not on that concession or a lease property. Well, we're through 5 properties, and I wanted to take a quick break. You might remember I had started my Friday field trips with the goals of going out and looking at local businesses, supporting them and exposing them on my YouTube channel. I had been at Sebas's house the last time getting a haircut. I was back at Sebas's house for this broadcast. It reminded me I need to continue supporting local businesses. And luckily, lo and behold, there is another business right at my local barbershop that I can support. Without further ado, I'd like to start this unpaid, completely improvised public service announcement for Gabriela's Desserts. If you're looking for desserts in the Playa Junquillal, Playa Avellanas, or Playa Negra areas, if you'd like desserts custom made for your party, do be sure to call Gabriela at the WhatsApp number listed on the screen right now, 6229-2172. Gabriela is based in Rio Seco, right at the same place where you can get a haircut, and she would be more than happy to prepare cheesecakes, all kinds of stuff. You've got tropical flavors, you've got typical cheesecake flavors. Be sure to give her a call about her delicious desserts. I realize the point of advertising is to give people a slight break from constantly speaking. But anyhow, let's continue forward and go on with our 6th listing. We're moving into homes right now, and we're going to still stay with homes that are closer than a 10-minute walk to the beach. Vida is still on the market. This is a property that you've seen on my channel before. And really, it's actually it was under contract at one point. We've also had 2 other offers. And really, both of the offers have just been a situation where the seller stuck close to their asking price, and we didn't come to successful negotiations. This is another property that's extremely close to the water with just a quick, really 5 or 6 minute walk down. You can do it backwards most of the way, and as long as you're not going uphill, it should be pretty easy. And one of the great things, again, about this, just like one of the lots that I had talked about earlier, is that it's really tucked onto sort of the back corner of a street here in our community. You can see the location here where you'd be at the end of a road with very few people coming by your property. It's set up into 2 studios where you've got this common kitchen and dining room. It's the kitchen and dining is open air, which is beautiful. And then the bedrooms and bathrooms are on this side. It does have some stairs. So we've also found that, yeah, for people who are nearing retirement or past retirement, it hasn't been the most appealing to retirees. But for people who want to come and go, to be able to shut down a property and leave it while you're out of the country, Vida is a great opportunity. And here you can see just how close it is to the water. On your left, as you go down to the beach, is the charming Guacamaya Lodge. So you've got one of Junquillal's best dinner restaurants and bars just down the road from you on your left-hand side. Would be an absolutely spectacular place to really get into the local social scene and, to have your nightly hangout very shortly before getting home. Listing number 7 is another listing that's been on the market, and this one is actually going to be leaving the market soon if we do not find a buyer. We're talking about Casa Monitos. There is a rental agreement on the table for a long-term renter to move into Casa Monitos. The price has been reduced to $360,000, and really, for my money, it's one of the best values on the market. It's a 1,200 square foot home that was built by a local builder that does pure quality construction. It's Doug Stern, who's been on my channel. Hardwood ceilings, hardwood cabinetry, every detail in the home is absolute quality. And they really set it up to be sort of the easiest home to manage as possible, where you've got a charming 1,200 square feet layout that's not some, big footprint. They've designed the landscaping so that you don't have too awful much work to do. And Casa Monitos is a special property because despite being in this gated community, Tierra Pacifica, it is still only 10 minutes walk to the beach, which again is the standard I'm using today. Tierra Pacifica actually has a beach access back by Casa Monitos, where you walk through a forest trail. You're going to walk past the lot that's for sale that I mentioned earlier at $175,000, and you're going to walk down to the beach on a public main road. So at $360,000, Monitos is one of those rare properties that is both in a gated community, but walking distance to the beach. And I should mention the lot for Casa Monitos is 1.5 acres. You have a really large forested property with a ton of privacy, and it's a huge forest space around you, creating that perfect green buffer to enjoy Costa Rica. Next, folks, I want to move on. Well, let's see. What did I actually have scheduled after Monitos? Okay, we're going to do 2 condos that I have for sale in the Iguana Villas complex. This one, again, we are going close by. Oh, and I've got to pull up one of the links here. Close by Playa Blanca, that white sand beach that I mentioned earlier with the spectacular snorkeling. There are 10 villas in the Iguana Villas project, which is very close to that beach. And one of them for sale is Iguana Villa number 7 at $340,000. This is your classic, when you walk in, you can definitely feel that it's just a comfortable, fully furnished, turnkey place. But yeah, the aesthetic here has not been changed from that sort of classic beach condo look. You've got a lot of stuff in there that's, the current owner has lived in there for a long time and has made it into their own condo. And at $340,000, they're basically asking $200 per square foot of interior living space. I take that back. Let's say $200 per square foot of living space, and that does include patios, because the Iguana Villas themselves are huge. They're 1,700 square foot condos. This is the main suite on the second level, and they really feel more like homes rather than condos. Today, new quality concrete construction can cost you a minimum of $185 per square foot if you're doing sort of a custom build. So at $340,000 or $200 a square foot, number 7 is listed at a very reasonable price, close to what it would cost to replace just the building today, let alone when you're talking about the land, the amenities, all of the furnishings, etc. And like I mentioned, we do have 2 condos for sale. This will be a nice little comparison here. You've got, the classic look. Nothing much has been changed about this condo since it was built. And then we also have Iguana Villas number 2, which has been fully remodeled with an absolutely different look. This owner in Iguana Villas number 2 has gone from the floor to the ceiling and done every detail. Flooring, lighting, doors, windows, everything has been upgraded. You can see it's got this very clean, modern look. The owner has even made this a turnkey property for you cat owners out there. The kitty jungle gym comes included with the asking price, though if somebody would prefer the condo doesn't have it, then obviously we can uninstall the kitty jungle gym before closing. But this condo comes fully turnkey at this price, equipped and furnished. The owner has added a utility room that the other Iguana Villas don't have. You can see all of the furniture is this really new, sort of clean looking stuff. They have a 9-jet jacuzzi tub as one of the upgrades. They've turned their guest bedroom into a space for up to 4 people and added these sliding doors. All of the doors and sliders throughout are, high quality double pane security glass. So you've got a really high quality condo, and at $467,000, you obviously have the difference between full upgrades, remodel, 2025 windows, doors, etc., versus that original condition $340,000 Iguana Villa that was number 7. So here is number 2. I have the price miswritten there. It should be $467,000. You all can see it out there, no problem whatsoever. Finally, I want to finish with our number 10 listing. Is another new one that came to the market only a couple months ago. This is another home that is extremely close to the water, where essentially the property was built as close as you can get to the ocean in Costa Rica without going into that concession or lease zone. This is Casa Blue Zone, which is a very short walk from the beach. It is also a very short walk from our surf break in Playa Junquillal. Got really great access down there. You've got a 1/5 of an acre of property here, or 800 square meters. Casa Blue Zone is, again, fully turnkey, sold furnished and equipped by its current owner. You don't get to keep the guitar, I don't think, but really it's a home that's ready to move into. And if you're looking for something that's going to be less maintenance and really sort of an easier vacation property, if you don't want to get involved in that 1.5 acre property like you'd see in a place like Casa Monitos, then really it is a spectacular combination of having your space, your lawn, you've got room for a pool, you're not really, you've got good privacy from the folks around you. You do have your 2 little green spaces in your property. I'll mention you also have amazing neighbors at this project on every side, the people who've already invested. I know them personally, and they are great folks. And so for $425,000, you could be moving into Casa Blue Zone, which is, again, just about 300 meters from the beach here in Playa Junquillal. I'm going to talk about two more things before wrapping up today. First, you might remember that I had in 2024, I was talking about an extremely important real estate deal. And in fact, it is the most important real estate deal, not only of 24, not only of 25, but likely it will be the most important deal of my life. I'm part of an organization that works to protect water resources in Guanacaste, Costa Rica. We had the opportunity to acquire 185 acres of forest in our watershed to protect and use as a demonstration site for the organization that I'm involved with, the Guanacaste Water Center. We are days away from signing on an agreement for us to acquire this land. We've got donors lined up who are going to be supporting our reverse mortgage to pay for this property. We've got donors who are paying for closing costs, for everything related to acquiring the property. So first and foremost, I'm extremely grateful to the people who have signed up to preserve this 185 acres of forest. I do want to give a video here and show a little bit more about the Guanacaste Water Center, or El Centro Pro Aguas de Guanacaste. And I want to remind everybody that we are constantly looking for financial support for that organization. And if you're out there, if you like what I present, if you want to help me in a way that's not necessarily hiring me as a realtor, please offer to support the Guanacaste Water Center. I'm still president of the board as a volunteer. I was director of this organization before I became a real estate agent. They do great grassroots work to protect the environment. They do it on a shoestring budget. And if you're out there, if you've got a few dollars to spare for a great grassroots environmental NGO, let's talk about Guanacaste Water Center. And here's a video to give you more information on their work.
En Centro Proaguas trabajamos día a día por la conservación del agua en Guanacaste, promoviendo la educación ambiental accesible e inclusiva, ejecutando acciones para la conservación de los ecosistemas que nutren el recurso hídrico y fomentando el desarrollo comunitario a través de la inversión social. Nuestro sueño es que haya agua abundante en Guanacaste para todos y para siempre. Nuestro sueño es un futuro verde y sostenible. Y nuestro sueño es cada vez más grande. Es la promesa de algo verdaderamente transformador. Queremos crear un santuario del agua, un oasis de biodiversidad, un pulmón de vida natural en Guanacaste. Por eso, hemos adquirido 75 hectáreas de terreno boscoso para la protección de los ecosistemas que nutren el recurso hídrico en la parte alta de la cuenca Nandamojo. Con esta propiedad, queremos proteger los valiosos recursos hídricos de la cuenca al implementar modelos de recarga acuífera. También queremos contar con un espacio experimental para la ciencia, la educación y el ecoturismo. Y de esta forma, crear nuevas oportunidades de desarrollo para la comunidad. Únete a nosotros y juntos hagamos realidad este sueño.
Oh, there we are. Those were real shots of the farm that we'll be acquiring through this effort. Last and finally, folks, I wanted to remind you that we are going to get to see the number 27 ranked tennis player, U10 tennis player in Costa Rica. Again, if you want to get in touch with me about real estate, you can email me at matt@costaricamat.com. I'm going to go ahead and enjoy one of Doña Gabriela's delicious desserts here while we watch just one single highlight from Jonas Rosensteel's recent tennis tournament. We got the pleasure of going to San Jose to watch Jonas reach the semifinal of his first ever tennis tournament. You're looking at one dad who could not possibly be prouder of the way that his son played tennis, treated everybody with a ton of respect, managed different situations, refereeing their own games, etc. I want to show you Jonas Rosenstiel so that someday when he's an international tennis player, you can say you saw him first on a goofy Costa Rica real estate broadcast. Here we're going to be looking at Jonas in the foreground, playing a point that he actually ended up, this specific point, losing, but it was one of the few where I hit record on my phone and then there was actually a good point instead of hitting record and having it end quickly. So let's watch the highlight here as we sign off. See you next Friday. I'll be back on October 10th with more Costa Rica real estate.